Councillor Collins. He appears not to have come back yet. Councillor Coombe.
Kia ora no.
Councillor Cooper.
Yeah.
Councillor Dalton.
Present, Sandra.
Councillor Filipina.
Talofa, Sandra.
Councillor Fletcher.
Present.
He's being a little slow. He is on. Councillor Henderson.
Everybody.
Councillor Hills. Councillor Newman.
Present, Sandra.
Thank you. Councillor Sayers. Councillor Simpson is not with us. Councillor Stewart.
Good afternoon.
Councillor Watson.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Councillor Young. IMSB member Wilcox. You, Chair.
Councillor Collins, thank you. And if our members are joining or need to break from the meeting, if they could just signal that to Sandra in the chat bar, please. Okay, we'll power ahead and we'll go to item 10, and this is at page 29 of the agenda. This is an item relating to a private plan change request to rezone land, some 82 hectares from memory, at Pokakohe, and the staff will outline the specific reasons this decision is required, and reporting Peter Rabin and John Dugood, our General Manager of Plans and Places. So members, I'll put up the motions there, and there is a slight change too, if you can just scroll up to that change, Sandra, and keep that on the screen, and members can see the balance on their agendas. Mary, are you comfortable moving?
I'll
Thank you, Deputy
second,
Mayor.
Dalton.
Councillor Dalton, thank you. So it's moved and seconded. I'll now hand to John Dugood and Peter Rabin to introduce the item.
So sorry,
John?
Councillor Darby, John Dugood is on leave today, so I'm here in his place, and I'll
Celia.
introduce Peter Rayburn, who's going to be the consultant managing the process. Thanks.
Thanks, Celia. Celia Davison will introduce Peter and the item. With you first, Celia, is it? Or are you just going to hand over to
I'll
Peter?
just move straight over to Peter. He's got a presentation he's going to give.
Okay,
I think
good.
Sandra.
I think. Kia ora, Chair and committee members. So I've just got 5 slides just to explain the plan change.
Yes.
We can. It's before us.
Okay. So yes, it's a private plan change for a block of land in Pukekohe East. So this is the location, just to orientate ourselves. This is the down Mill Road. The quickest way to get to the site is actually down Harrisville Road, Logan Road, entry into this area here, or through Pukekohe East Road and down Goldin Road, and between Station Road and Goldin Road, and you can see Goldin Road at this point is the boundary of the Auckland district, Waikato across the road. So the site is about 1.2 kilometres station and about 1.5 kilometres from the Pukekohe town centre. Probably the major characteristic is that it's 82 hectares altogether, and 35 hectares of that is training facilities. So you'll see that quite clearly on the aerial photo. The railway runs along Station Road, and on the other side of the railway is Pukekohe Park, so the horse racing track and the motor racing track. That's the current zoning. 1/3 of the site has got a special purpose zone that covers the Franklin Trotting Club land. So these are the boundaries of the plan change area. That funny curved boundary there is following a stream watercourse. In terms of the future supply strategy, this area is identified as being development ready by 2023. So in the period 2023 to 2027. So this plan change is just slightly prior to the just the physical features of the land. I've mentioned the stream along the southeastern boundary. There's another stream going through the middle of the site, and quite a large artificial and surrounded by a wetland. And then there's in the southern part of the site next to Yates Road, there's quite a big grove of kahikatea. So they're the major sort of natural features on the land. The Trotting Club land, and the balance of the land is 9. There's no horticulture that exists on the land at present. So this is the proposed zoning plan. As you know, the structure plan, the Pukekohe Parrata structure plan, has been identifies to the north of the site a light industry zone fronting Station Road, and also to the south of the site a light industry zone, with the balance under the structure plan being a combination of mixed housing, suburban and mixed. So to a large extent, this plan change picks up on the structure plan. The major difference being is that the area that's identified as the special purpose zone for the Trotting Club land now, the Franklin Trotting Club is one of the applicants, and locate their facility, so no longer need that special purpose zone. So what they've done is pick up the adjoining zonings indicated on the structure plan, so the light industry zone, carrying that through down Station Road, and with the balance of the proposed as a mixed housing urban zone. There's a precinct overlay that's proposed as part of the plan change, and that sets in place a basic roading, indicative roading, which identifies links to the site, if you like, that are generally in accordance with the structure plan. The other the Kahikatea Grove that I've mentioned is proposed as an SEA area, so that's down the bottom there. They would be required to be protected as well. Now, a feature of the plan change is that because it's opposite the Pukekohe Motorsport Park, there's potential noise issues, and they're mitigated through the plan, sort of the buffer of the light industry zone before you get into a residential zone, and then you might see that hatched area through the residential zone. That's an area where there would be special controls over building and acoustic protection and so on. And there is which 7-metre high wall which would be erected through the light industry zone as a noise buffer before any of the residential areas are developed. So the outcome would be, in terms of the modelling, would be and the light industry area an employment of about 800 plus jobs. So that's the presentation, Mr. Chair. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Peter. I'll go for questions. Members, are there questions on this? I'm just don't have any at the moment. Please. Just
Sure.
scrolling down. I do. Councillor Walker first, please.
Sure. As a matter of interest, you mentioned the Franklin Trotting Clubs going. Do they have an alternative site already in train?
Not that they've indicated as yet. So they see it as a letter with the plan change, and indicated in that they've got a 3 to 5 year time frame for identifying a site. But as far as we know, they haven't identified that site as yet.
Okay, and the other question I've got just goes to the flooding and the inundation. The stream that interacts with this area, what does that?
Oh, that's a good question. Ultimately, Waikato River, I think. But flooding, there's the western part of the site is in a floodplain. That's a matter that they the applicants obviously acknowledge and need to address through the development of the site. So it's quite a low-lying flat area, draining soils, and that's a particular. So in terms of things that they have to address, flooding and stormwater is certainly one of them.
And the soil type?
So as I've said, it's not. It's certainly not elite soils. There's no current or recent history of horticulture on the land. It is grazing land.
Okay, and it's not a peat soil.
No, it's a clay soil.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of questions. So am I to take it that the access way would be through Goldin Road? Is that right? Or are we going to still be using Station Road to access this kaupapa?
Okay, indicative concept plan as to how the area could be developed with the plan change. It indicates three entry points from Station Road, 3 from Yates Road, and 3 from Goldin Road. The Station Road entry points are into the land, but there's no frontage onto Station Road itself for properties. All properties are served off internal roading systems, and that's to make.
My second question is, so I heard there was we're going to build a Berlin Wall there. Is it 7 meters high? Is that correct? Is this to become a gated community, or is that the purpose?
No, the purpose is simply as an acoustic wall. So it's to protect in the motor racing.
Okay.
Thankfully. So, and that wall goes down through the middle of the light industry zone.
Okay, I see.
So it would probably ultimately be orientated so it's at the back boundaries of industrial sites, for instance.
Okay. Yeah, I think the railways would be more noisy at midnight than the 3, and this is more my non-understanding of how we interact with Waikato. How does this, because this is right on the border and we're building right up to the border, how does this interact with what Waikato might be doing?
Well, so rural zoning. So there's no proposal on that side for urban development. So Golding Road would essentially be the boundary of the urban area as well as the district boundary.
Okay, yeah, I'll leave the rest of my corridor for comments.
To the Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for the presentation. When we did the Pukekohe structure plan back in 2011-12, I think it was, we had to put a buffer right around Pukekohe Park and the racecourse, particularly for the sound barriers. Buffer, including the wall, to mitigate most of the sound, in your opinion, sir?
No, it is a combination. So there's the light industry zone buffer, there's this acoustic wall, and there's that hatched area that I referred to. So an appropriate residential noise threshold. So in addition, what is required is some design controls on built development in that residential area. So it's things like glazing, there's orientation of buildings, there's a combination of 3 measures to get an adequate noise environment. So it is bespoke to the area, and it does recognise that you know, on motor racing days it's quite noisy.
Did I hear you correctly on that?
That's the modelling is 800 jobs, yes.
Okay. Thanks very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And Councillor Cooper, please. I think it's the final question.
Thank you. I just want to ask you, Peter, through you, Mr. Chair, in recommendation at A to F, you're saying, I guess, in your report that there's nothing, none of those would be triggered that would have any grounds to reject this private plan change.
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I need to know. The commissioners will do.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Yeah, it's a course assessment at this stage. We don't get into the merits in detail. So the question before us, I don't think there's any other questions. I'll just check. The question before us is whether we accept, adopt, reject. The recommendation is to accept the process in the area of funding and financing of infrastructure. Is there any comment on this, please, members? I think this is reasonably straightforward. Is there comment? I don't think I've got any call for comment, so I'll go to the vote. All those in favour say aye.
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 And declare that carried. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate your work here. And we'll hear more on this as it is progressed. That takes us, members, to item 11. Item